Okay, now we've got our keyword map set up. We've got our Kanban view looking good. We've got swim lanes to help us manage the process of creating content, outlining, writing, editing, and publishing. And then we've added a few things after publish, like sharing, on-page optimization, backlinks. I just wanted to pause here for a moment and talk a little bit about writing and editing. I've worked at a lot of different companies as an advertising copywriter, on an in-house content marketing team, and then managing a team of freelance writers. And I've worked in a few different writing capacities that have given me a pretty clear understanding of sort of what you're looking for when you're hiring writers. Um, Typically, there is like a content SEO writer who their entire career they've written for SEO. They're very familiar with keywords, they understand backlinks, and they understand writing, really good authoritative long form content. And then you have another kind of writer, and this is sort of where I started my career as a copywriter or someone who's done like journalism, that kind of writing. And typically, those writers don't really understand the mechanics of SEO at all, but a lot of times they're very, very good writers. And I have found that when you're looking to hire a writer to create this type of SEO driven content, you're better off finding someone who's a fantastic writer who can create really engaging sort of long form content and prioritizing that skill set before prioritizing does this person understand anything about SEO. It's much easier to find someone who's a great writer and teach them how to write for SEO, teach them which things you need to tweak about their content in order to have it rank well, than it is to find someone who's not as good of a writer but understands SEO and try and teach them to become a good writer. Today, Google prioritizes engagement and user signals like time on page and some other signals that they use to indicate whether or not content is good and engaging. And that's going to make a lot bigger difference in the long-term success of your content strategy than if you have someone who's a great writer, if you have someone who knows SEO. So make sure you're finding good writers and then teaching them some of these mechanics of SEO. We can talk a little bit about that in an upcoming lesson. But that's a lot more important than finding a writer who knows anything about SEO.